Gi-hun was seconds away from death many times, yet every single time he somehow managed to survive. Today, we're looking at every time Gi-hun almost died and should have been eliminated but wasn't. This is where it all started. This is like the foundation for all the saves. Yeah, it's the save during red light, green light. That game should have been it for Gi-hun. But somehow, the dude survives. At first, nobody knows what's going on. It's just red light, green light. A kid's game, no biggie. Then, the first guy moves after red light and drops dead. Now sure, even though the guy was literally shot and when he fell, everyone should have realized something was seriously wrong. But nope, they just stand there, staring at the body like, huh, weird. Then the next person moves and another one down. What happens next was totally understandable. People just start running and get gunned down, and luckily for Gi-hun, he just stands there, in shock. Then, they see the timer and somehow have the smarts to realize that if they don't cross the finish line in time, they're gonna get shot. Gi-hun starts running, but like any other NPC in this game, he almost trips over a guy and is this close to being shot. This close. That's when Ali, the legend, grabs him by the collar, making sure he doesn't get shot. Alright, I got to mention Ali as a legend, man. That's the least I could do after all he's done. He didn't even have to do that. He could have just looked out for himself. But nope, the dude's a legend. If Ali hadn't saved him, Gi-hun's Squid Game journey would have ended right then and there. Also, he wouldn't have made it to the next season just to once again save absolutely no one. I'm just kidding. I guess he did what he could. And that was just one single save out of millions. Next up is marbles. Now, this is another moment he was clearly saved, but this time, just a bit emotional. Now, the thing with marbles is that there's nothing physical about this game. There ain't no running, no obstacle course, or anything. You and your partner get a bag of marbles. Just play some random luck-based game and, well, try not to lose or you're dead. Everyone pairs up thinking they'll be working together, but nope, only one of them is making it out. The only rule the game had was to take all your partner's marbles. Winner stays, loser, well, you know how that goes. So, Gi-hun ends up with Il-nam, the old man who's been nothing but nice to him. At first, he's kinda relieved. I mean, how hard can it be to beat a frail old guy? But Il-nam is good. Like, scary good. He somehow keeps guessing it right, winning round after round while Gi-hun's marbles count shrink. One more loss and that was it for him. But then he does something that's once again completely understandable. He cheats. I guess any person would do it when it comes to getting shot in the head. Gi-hun knew Il-nam's memory was slipping, so Gi-hun took full advantage, tricking him into handing over his last marble. Feels bad, but hey, survival of the fittest, am I right? But just when he's about to walk away, Il-nam stops and hits him with, "We're Ganbu, right? Ganbu always share everything." Yeah, he knew. The whole time. And yet, he let Gi-hun win. Now, was it a shitty thing to do? Oh, absolutely. But given the circumstances, maybe it was for the best. The guy's old and had brain cancer or something, so he obviously didn't have much time to live. But Gi-hun, on the other hand, is young and still has a lot left in the tank. Also, the chances for Il-nam to make it to the next games are low. Just imagine him standing against Sang-woo in the last game. so considering all that, I guess it's okay. But come on, kids. Cheating is still bad. Well, unless you're Gi-hun. That was a close call, but trust me, the next one, it's way worse. There was another time when Gi-hun was saved. This was all before the marbles game, so yes, Il-nam's still alive. Marbles had nothing to do with being physical, but this one was completely based on being physical and strong. It was tug-of-war. From the start, this was a guaranteed L for Gi-hun's team. I mean, he had 2 women, an old man, and some average Joes. Meanwhile, the other team, they were built. Here, Gi-hun had nothing. He was just pulling like any other. But it was because of Il-nam and Sang-woo that they made it through. The game starts, and yeah, Gi-hun's squad is getting dragged. Then Sang-woo says to take 3 steps forward. Excuse me, that sounded like the fastest way to lose a game of tug-of-war. Seems stupid at the moment, but with 0 options, they do it, and somehow, it works. I guess I'm the dumb one. The other team stumbles forward, completely losing balance, and that's all they needed. Gi-hun's team pulls with everything they have, and they somehow manage to win. Now, as I said, Gi-hun had nothing to do with this win. It was because of Il-nam and mostly because of Sang-woo's last-minute trick. If you thought that was a wild save, just wait till you see the next one. Alright, so this is one of those times where he was just absolutely saved somehow by the game. So, it all starts when the guards intentionally decrease the amount of food given to the players. I mean, it's too little. Like, it was literally just a boiled egg and a drink. That was it. Imagine coming out of a game where you almost died, and all you get is just an egg. But that wasn't even the main issue. The real problem, Deok-soo, the gangster dude, feels like a single egg was not enough, and he and his squad go for seconds, which is, you know, understandable. But the guards only made the exact amount of food. That means if there were only 295 players, there would only be 295 eggs. So, when the last 5 came for their food, they didn't get it. The guy in line lost it. Reasonable crows out, by the way. He confronted Deok-soo and tried to at least get the drink from him. This ended up in a nasty fight, and Deok-soo stomped that guy out. Everyone thought there'd be some kind of punishment or consequence to this. But you can't just kill a guy for no reason, right? Well, you can. The players realized this when the guards came in to take away the body and when the prize money increased. That night, Deok-soo and his gang decide to, speed up the competition themselves. The lights go out, and it's a full-on massacre. Now, Gi-hun has no clue what's about to happen. Out of nowhere, some random dude swings a metal bat straight at his head, but Ali and Sang-woo react just in time, grabbing the guy mid-swing. Before Gi-hun can even process that, another player rushes at him with a knife. Again, Sang-woo comes in clutch, tackling the guy away. At this point, it's complete carnage. People are fighting, stabbing, doing way too much, and Gi-hun and his squad were barely holding on. And then, everything just stops. It stops because Il-nam begs for it to stop. And just like that, the frontman ends the riot. At the time, I was like, why did they stop just because of the old dude? Definitely not out of the kindness of their hearts. By the end of the season? Yeah, it all made sense. Think that was a close one? Not even close, because this next one doesn't even happen inside the games. Now, this has to be like the absolute save of all the ones we have seen so far, and it wasn't even in the games. So, at the end of Season 1, Gi-hun manages to get out of the games alive with the money. He really thought it was over. He won. He walked away with the money. But the game never really ended, did it? He refused to spend a single cent. Instead, he got obsessed, taking down the people who put him through hell. Now, that search led him straight to the recruiter. The same guy who lured him in with that slap-happy train station game. But this time, there were no slaps. Just a single gun. It was Russian roulette. So yeah, like the guy said, there's one bullet in the chamber. And they take turns pulling the trigger. That's it. Just hope for the best. Gi-hun's hands are shaking as he picks up the gun. He knows if the bullet is in the chamber. That's it. He pulls the trigger. Click. Nothing. The recruiter smirks and takes his turn. Click. Still empty. They keep going, round after round, and with every pull, the chance of survival goes down. My heart would be pounding too because eventually, someone's gonna get the loaded chamber. Then, the recruiter hesitates. He grips the gun tighter like he's really feeling the weight of the next shot. He knows this one's the loaded one because this was the last round. But instead of pointing it at Gi-hun, he turns it on himself. And just like that, he's gone. Well, at least he didn't cheat and took it like a man. And Gi-hun, he's just shaking, wondering how he's still alive. This has to be like insane plot armor. I mean, how's the guy still alive? That had to be some next level plot armor. But this next one? Yeah, it takes things to a whole new level. After the glass bridge game, only 3 made it out. Gi-hun, Si-by-yeok, and Sang-woo. And Si-by-yeok was already barely hanging on. She was bleeding out from the shards of glass that tore into her during the last game, but she didn't say a word. Gi-hun, though, he finds out, but way too late. By the time he realizes she's already on the edge, he bangs on the door, screaming for help, thinking maybe, just maybe, the guards will do something for once. And while they do, they walk in, but not to save her. They're just there to clean up because Sang-woo had already handled it. Gi-hun snaps. Any restraint he had was gone. All he wants to do now is make Sang-woo pay. Then comes the final game, the final stretch, the actual Squid game. No rules, no restrictions, just survival of the fittest. Both of them are wrecked, desperate, barely holding on. The fight turns really brutal. It's messy, ugly, and exhausting. But in the end, Gi-hun gets the upper hand. He knocks Sang-woo down, grabbing the knife. Well, this was it, his chance to end it, right then and there. But he doesn't. Instead of finishing Sang-woo, he lets the knife fall. He's done playing their game. Limping toward the finish line, he offers an out. But for Sang-woo, there is no return. Everything he's done, the betrayals, the blood on his hands, it wasn't just for survival. It was for nothing. If he leaves now, he won't be walking into freedom. He'll be walking into life that's already over. So he makes a different choice. He grips the knife and stabs it into his own throat. At least one of them should make it out. And somehow, through all of it, Gi-hun wins. Not by killing anyone, not by playing by the rules, but by holding on to whatever humanity he has left. It's crazy, really. The guy who had every reason to let revenge take over, to take that final step and claim the victory the easy way, chose not to. I guess even when he had nothing left, he still refused to become like them. And Sang-woo, he could have killed Gi-hun at that moment. But he didn't. Maybe he knew Gi-hun deserved better. Maybe, in the end, he wanted at least one of them to get out. Either way, Gi-hun survived. Not because he fought harder, but because he never let the game win. Man, that was emotional. By now, we've seen some pretty insane saves. But now, it's time for the most brutal on the show. Now, after all this, Gi-hun wasn't playing to survive anymore. This wasn't about the money, the trauma, or even himself. This was about ending the Squid Games once and for all. And he wasn't alone. A handful of players, people who had enough, stood with him. The plan? Simple. 10-16, wait for the right moment, then burn it all down. And somehow, they actually pulled it off, at first. Guards got taken down, and they took their weapons, and for a solid minute, it looked like they had control. Also, this has to be like the only time the ones running the games were losing control. But of course, it, unfortunately, didn't last. It never does, until young Il betrayed them. He made Gi-hun believe he was dead, and let the rebellion fall apart. Then, when the guards absolutely crushed the players, he went back in as the frontman. And of course, he just had to rub it in. That should have been the end of it, right? Nope. The frontman pointed his gun at Gi-hun, then turned and shot Young-ji. This was so much worse than killing Gi-hun. At this point, Gi-hun was completely gone. He was mad with rage. But the frontman? He didn't finish him off. Not because of mercy, because he wanted him to suffer. That was a save, but a really brutal one. Now, let's talk about the frontman for a second. That guy. The most cunning one in the whole show. When he first showed up, even I was like, wait, is he actually helping them? But as the games went on, it started feeling too real. Almost like he had a change of heart. He had me fooled. Almost. But by the end of it, it all made sense. Everything he did in Season 2? That was just him proving one point. Especially to Gi-hun. The game never ends. Now, looking ahead? There's so many ways this could go. What if the frontman makes Gi-hun win again just to prove he can't stop it? What if he forces him to relive the nightmare over and over until he breaks completely? Or what if Gi-hun stops fighting? Think about it. He's lost everything. His childhood best friend, his mom, and every single person he's ever cared about. Gone. What if he finally gives up? What if he becomes the next frontman? There are a million ways this could turn out, and honestly, I'm here for it. Well, guess we'll find out soon.